Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update. And I am your host, Seawall, checking in as I love to do, especially during football season, to give you the latest and greatest information and all the happenings going on with the Washington Commanders. I'm going to give you all an opportunity to get on in this live discussion as we are all set to recap NFL Week 2, the Washington Commanders against the Denver Broncos. So, as you all are already hopping on in the chat, I have to do, of course, as you know, some housekeeping items. This is a live Bowie television recording. Everything we say and do here, more than likely, will end up on the television screen. So, Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77. For all of you streamers and YouTubers out there, you can find this content on Bowie TV at BCMC TV Maryland on YouTube as well. It's a ton of content up there. Television shows each and every single day. You will absolutely catch the Coaching from the Couch series every day, 1:30 to 2:30. Tina Moore has already jumped in. DJ Bland has jumped in. I know Mama Waller is going to jump in. Pops Waller always catches up with us later. So make sure you say hello to both of them. I see Cameron Mingo has jumped in as well. If you all are tuning in, make sure you hit that love button, drop a fire emoji, because we are, in fact, celebrating another Victory Monday. Can you believe it? 2 in a row to open up the season. You absolutely want to tag in your Washington Commanders loving family and friends if you want them to join in on the live discussion so that they can have their commentary and their feedback shared as well on the game. We may as well have some fun while we're at it, right, you all? So we're going to get into a couple of our engagement items. You know, we always, I like to have my engagement. I like to see what you like, what you didn't like. We're going to go through some feedback, go through my insights as well. So if you are just tuning in from the Coaching from the Couch series, this is the Washington Commanders update, specifically focused on the Washington Commanders. Love button, please. Fire emoji. Share this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. And if you're watching on the television screen, hello. My name is Candy, also known as Seawall. All right. What a weekend. All right. It's a lot going on. It was just a lot. In great news is not on top of Victory Monday. May I get a round of applause, please? Because I did not at all suffer from altitude sickness. Now, I can't say the same for my colleague Darrell Owens. You all, Darrell is fine. He's all right. But outside, not so much. I was all right. I did okay. It typically hits me in Denver when I'm there longer, but it was okay. But to get us started, you already know what I'm getting ready to ask you. What's your one word? What is your one word to describe how you are feeling on this Victory Monday? What is your one word to describe how you were feeling right after the game? I want to know. Let me know. And I see Damon has checked in. Melvin Russ McCray has as well. One word, folks. You got to have a one word. After all of that, it's got to be something. I definitely want to know. And Damon has already jumped in with excited. Cameron Mingo, relieved. Tina Moore actually has one of mine because I run the game, but I don't necessarily play the game. And shocked was definitely one of the things I was feeling as we were watching that game. Melvin Russ McCray says relieved. Mama Waller says OMG. She only had a word. She had an acronym. And DJ Bland says Yowie Wowie. All of the above. All of the above. Um, it's interesting because you've heard me all say typically you practice how you play. So what you see on Sunday is what you see in practice. And you all know that last week after week 1, despite getting the right letter of the alphabet, and that would be the W, I was still very like, this isn't good. I don't know how many more games they're going to win playing that way. And that's a team that I haven't seen. What is that exactly? Because that's just not what I was accustomed to watching. Right around the middle of the second quarter, definitely going into the half for sure in the second half, I recognized those people. Now, those individuals that played in the second half of that game, I've seen them all before. I've actually been seeing those individuals since May. They looked all familiar to me. Now I felt like I knew what I was watching. That, my friends, is what I had been talking about. That right there was what I said. I said, because herein lies a challenge. I don't, when I come to you all, and you all know that I'm there, I'm telling you exactly what I saw. So then when you play on a game on Sunday, now everybody is seeing supposedly what I saw. So now I have to come back and tell everybody, y'all, listen, that's not what I saw. The second half of the Denver Broncos game, week 2, is the first time that I can confidently tell you all that right there, all those people, the decisions that were being made, the adjustments that were being made, that's them. There they go. Okay. Everybody is here. Finally, in real life, mentally, physically, emotionally, they're all accounted for. Relieved is actually the word, because I was starting to think that it was something just was wrong. I did a pregame show yesterday. My Fox Sports 1340 AM family hit me up and said, hey, Seawall, if you got about 5-10 minutes, I want you on pregame. And I said, absolutely, happy to do it from Mile High Stadium. I told them a few things. I said I was looking for Logan Thomas to kind of redeem himself. I wanted to see a Logan Thomas touchdown, and we got that. Best wishes to Logan. I wanted to see Antonio Gibson redeem himself after the fumble, and just that running back core overall. I wanted to see them get back into it and be the dominant powerhouse runners that I know that they were. And I said it. I said, I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you saw any of my posts from week 2, I was wearing an animal print shirt. I was wearing a tiger print shirt. When Darrell saw me, the first thing he said, he laughed because, it was ready. I was in game mode, and he was like, oh, I see you got your tiger print on. You gonna go get him today, Tiger? And I said, yep, me and Chase. I'm gonna go get him, and Chase gonna go and get him. And all of the above took place. That was what needed to happen offensively. We know that there's offensive line challenges. We know that there are offensive line challenges, but there were still some things from an offensive perspective where you look at the fact that Sam Howell, and I think just about all of the offense, except for Sam Cosmi, when he had to go out that play, took every single snap. So when everything is starting to fold in, you saw an offense that was still able to score 35 points. You know that this is an offense that's still trying to gel together in an offensive line way. You know that this is still a very, very young quarterback, right? And they scored 35 points when they were down 21-3. But those are the people that I recognize. I know those people. Now, let me also say this, and then we're going to get into some content and what some key moments that I really enjoyed, and I would love you all's feedback on. And we're going to watch a couple of content videos as well. I think They could have lost the game. And, depending on who you ask, maybe they should have, right? Doesn't matter. W, Victory Monday, here we are. Um, the slow starts in today's press conference via Zoom with Ron Rivera. The two missed field goals by Joey Sly. So that's 6 points left out there. The bad snaps is a result, that has something to do with that as well. But the missed kicks, those certain things, there was some missed tackles. There were some mistakes made. And so you can't help but to think to yourself, at least for me, I say, well, what happens if they fix those mistakes? Who could this team really be? If we all know that they're still gelling in some areas and they're still learning in some areas, who could they really be if they fix those things? Now on defense, that's who almost took me out. That's what almost took me down. I was on a downhill slope. Whenever you talk to, actually, yesterday I was sitting next to JP Finlay. Shout out to JP. And then it was myself, Donna Hopkins, and David Harrison. JP and Donna would tell I was going on a downhill slope fast and in a hurry because the defense, just those big explosive plays that they let get past them. But you saw key adjustments. But again, I'm going to go back to the point of what if they got better about those things? And I'm going to jump back to the chat here. I see Tina Moore says, great halftime adjustment. Absolutely. Absolutely. I see your comment too, Cameron Mingo. I know that Josh Harris gave the game ball to Ron Rivera on his 100th win. Great for Ron. Kudos to him. Game ball goes to the EB if I had a choice. It's definitely some questionable things there in terms of the long field goal. But we always have to understand and ask ourselves, whose decision was that? Is it ultimately Ron's? It is. Or the EB make the decision? But we're going to continue to monitor when decisions like that happen, to start to track and say, well, who had the final say on that one? Because I feel like that is a very important point to continue to pay attention to that. All right. And who makes those final decisions now? All right. Who makes those final decisions? So we're going to take our time with this one. Sometimes I get on here, y'all, and I try to rush y'all off because everybody like, you got to hurry up. You got a time limit. But hey, listen, it's Victory Monday and we got to get through these things. We have to get through these things. But first and point, this Russell Wilson, Marvin Mims Jr., for a split second, I said, oh my gosh, is this going to be that day? Are we going to have that type of afternoon where no one has been checking for Russell Wilson in ages? And here he is, throwing all down the field, not dancing, but running all down the field. Is that going to be that type of day? No, it wasn't. Almost, but it wasn't. So, drop in the chat. We're going to already go ahead and say it. I'm going to wait till the end, I think, for this one. And let me ask this up front. Can you all help me understand what everyone's issue is? I understand why people have issues with Chase, but it doesn't. I understand it. I just don't agree with it, right? But then there's so much critical feedback on Sam Howell as well. And it's like, well, what is this? And that's the video content I have. We do have Sam's presser and also when Chase Young talked to the media as well. So before we get into those videos, drop in the chat your favorite players of the game. Let me know who your favorite players were in week 2, who you have a little bit of concerns about, but we're going to try to keep it as positive as possible. I've already thrown it out there. Special teams unit from a long snapper, kicker perspective. I had its challenges for certain. And I'm going to bring up some pictures of some moments that I truly enjoyed. I see Cameron Mingo has already dropped in the chat about Brian Robinson. Damon, you said Jamin Davis. Um, this is a picture, and shout out to Darrell Owens, Boy TV photographer, videographer. Give him a shout out, y'all. He took some amazing pictures this weekend. Huge weekend in sports from our time in Boulder and in Denver. Terry McLaurin's touchdown catch. And again, shout out to Logan Thomas, his touchdown catch as well. Beautiful. Beautiful. The things that I saw, I said, okay, all right. Whoo. I was starting to think they had split personalities. I wasn't sure what was happening. I was serious. When I tell you, and I was concerned, and when you see certain things, the offense doesn't bother me. Everybody else is we already know about those things. And so let me try to get to Damon's question. Is Logan Thomas okay from that hit? I did speak with Logan yesterday, right after the game. If in the full disclosure, I was actually not in Ron Rivera's press conference after the game, because as I was going down, I saw Logan. And so I paused for a moment, chatted with Logan, and he said that he's good. He assured me he was good, but let's be very clear. He was smiling. He was good. He was getting his food. He was going to the bus. And, we chatted there, but let's also be clear, everyone, that he is in concussion protocol. That was something that happened. Everybody saw it, and he was evaluated, and it immediately came up that he did in fact have a concussion. But he is good, and he smiled, and he assured me, because I was joking with him. He saw me coming, because we have an insider, see me coming, run or go, and he's all right. So because he is okay. But that touchdown, Logan, Terry, exactly what I have seen. And those are the strikes. When you talk about ball placement, remember that was one of the things I was telling you all in training camp, that it was almost as if Sam Howell would be studying each one of his teammates on offense to really know ball placement for each one. It's like he just gets it. When he gets it, he gets it. And it's when they on, it's really great football. And you all have not heard me say that. If you are just tuning in, you're watching from the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders update. I'm your host, Seawall, Bowie Television, live recording here, live discussion. So thanks for joining. If you're just popping in, hit the love button, drop a fire emoji. All of your good commentary on the Washington Commanders, you all. We're talking about all of your favorite players from week 2. Washington Commanders defeat the Denver Broncos, and some of your favorite moments there. You haven't heard me say that, and great football. If you haven't heard. I wasn't probably talking about this team. Let's just go ahead and be real. And I see that Bernard has checked in as well. So let me go down my list of other people. Oh, I was supposed to keep this one for the last one. Whoops, I pulled up the wrong. But Chase Young, we will get to 9-9 in a moment, because I'm still trying to deal with the offense. We're going to get to 9-9 in a moment. You all already mentioned Brian Robinson. AG gets some props from me too, everybody. I still was holding my breath the way he had the football, because I feel like the rule that even Coach Bieniemy and Coach Rivera said out loud, AG, please just do what they said. But he was a little too free with it for me. I wanted him to get out, but he got tripped up. But amazing day for B-Rob. What a way to get that 2-point conversion. Again, full disclosure. Absolutely full disclosure. I didn't think he got it. And I said, oh, he didn't get that. Looked again. Oh, he absolutely did. Oh, my apologies. I was wrong. Absolutely got it. But a way to fight for it, though. It was amazing. Now, this next picture, this one, and I'm giving you a hint here, it involves Brian Robinson, but it's not about Brian Robinson. One of the unsung heroes here. We give the offensive line a hard time. We give them a hard way to go, even though most of them played almost 100% of the snaps yesterday. But when Brian Robinson got out there for that big run, who was running out there blocking for him? Sam Cosmi. What a warrior. Sam Cosmi gets hurt and he just goes back out there. It's like it's like he just can't not be out there with his teammates. And I absolutely love to see it. The energy is there. He wants to be out there. He wants to protect for his guys. He wants to block for his guys. And when I saw him get out in that run, and I said, look at Cos go. I said, Brian about to fly down the field. And they almost got down there. But those are the things. I think I mentioned that one day after training camp when we did a training camp update. I said, y'all, I saw something I never saw before. I saw the offensive linemen running down the field with B-Rob, and they were blocking for him almost the whole way. And there you saw it. I recognize those individuals. I've seen them before. Now, those people I know. The other people, I don't know who they are. Hope we don't see them anymore. And to this point of Mike Lyles here, Sam was a warrior out there going squad official for his team. I'm trying to tell you, it's an amazing thing. Moving to defense here, just seeing this is a picture of Percy Butler and others, just seeing everything going down. At one point, we all saw when the light bulb went off for the defense, right? Blew 2 big plays. And it looked like it was going to be a very long day. At the beginning of the game, it just looked like the defense forgot where they were. It really looked like, and I posted this, I said, Coach Del Rio was getting beat, everybody. What is happening here is that he's getting out-coached. That is what we're watching. It appears as though he does not have his unit ready for this war today. And if somebody doesn't say something or do something quick, this is going to be a very long day. And he got them together. That was almost the end. It was almost a disaster there at the end. But let's just give him credit for stopping the wound from completely bleeding out, because that's where it was headed. And for the coaching staff and for the players to make the adjustment that they did and go into full throttle force. I think that's my challenge, the slow starts. Because see, week 1, week 2, Arizona, Denver, all right. In the beginning of the season, you just never know it's any given Sunday. But these are teams that have had issues and have issues with their overall team. And so if you're starting out slow with them, you can still recover, as we've seen the Commanders do these first 2 weeks. But if you run up on a team that's going to give you the business for 60 entire minutes, this is not going to work. This approach is not going to work. And I think everybody understands that, and they know that, and they'll come prepared. Let's all hope accordingly moving forward. I saw the comment about, game ball going to Jack Del Rio. I can't give him the game ball. No, because Jack's unit was not ready, and it was obvious in the beginning. Did they adjust? Absolutely, they did, but they had to, because they were going to end up probably losing about 40. It was going to get disastrous. Somebody had to do something, and they adjusted quickly because they were, hey, and I'm going to let's all be clear about something. Nobody pays $6 billion for anything to lose. Let me get back into the chat here and see what you all have dropped here. DJ says, I agree. I felt the same way. Del Rio was getting his backside handed to him. Oh, the adjustments were spot on. He did everything. I mean, it was just, I don't know if everybody was asleep or what happened. But once they made those adjustments, then everybody's getting. In the beginning of the game, literally every defensive player was losing each one of their one-on-ones. I sat there, I shared, I said to Donna and David, I said, oh my gosh, because we're tracking and taking notes. And I said, everybody's losing their one-on-one. Nobody's winning right now. The edges were getting punished. And I'm like, I don't know. Start the game over. Somebody do something. But hey, whatever it is they did, it worked. But I see a comment here, want to acknowledge, because this is exactly true. Absolutely can't have a slow start with the Bills on Sunday. That's not going to work in week 3. It's not. Your opportunity to have slow starts have now, your opportunities to do that are up now. And you came out with the W. That worked first 2 weeks. These heroics, that's all well and good. That's fine. That's great. But you're going to have to stick it, either stick with them or just beat them outright. But trying to catch up, that's not going to work every week. It's not going to work every week at all. What other pictures do we have here? Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Emmanuel Forbes Jr., we saw him get beat a time or two. And so that's why I was like, okay, what's going on here? But everyone was able to crank it in motion for certain. So picture here, Cameron Curl, Cody Barton. I posted that Cody, at the end of the game, actually chatted with Darrell and acknowledged the first half was not good for him. The second half was much better. So, and we see Deron Payne back there. You see 94 back there. I can't have a show without mentioning 94, just to be honest. And then these two right here, 99, 90, love button, fire emoji. If you're just tuning in, this is from the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders Update. I'm your host, Seawall, hosting and facilitating the conversation, all recap on week 2. We're focusing now on some of our favorite players and moments from the game right here on your television screens. 99, 90. Really, really great to have everybody out there. Just awesome, awesome moment. Here's where it almost went down south. The Hail Mary. I'm like, what are we tapping footballs instead of catching them? But hey, it ended up working out in the Commanders' favor in the end. So that's good and that's great. But let me tell you, that was almost very sad. It was been so sad if they had done all of that to lose in that manner. So again, as Coach Ron Rivera said in his press conference today, there's some things we need to work on. Some things he didn't do well. And he did some things well. Well, there's definitely some things to work on. And I was just kind of like, who is tapping the football? Catch the football. But it worked out in the end. And the Washington Commanders were victorious. So I still want to get to these videos. I still want to get to them. I definitely want to get to Sam Howell's and Chase Young's media availability as well. So let's go ahead and pop up Sam Howell's.
What does a win, what does that kind of game say about this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it says everything. That's who this team is. Obviously, we went down early. We kind of put ourselves in a hole early on in the game, but this is a resilient team. And the thing I'm proud of is we had each other's back on both sides of the ball. That's what good teams have to do to find a way to win. We knew there was a lot of football left. Obviously, we would have liked to come out and start a little better. But at the end of the day, we made the plays when we needed to make them, and that's what matters.
What sparked that turnaround?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just taking it one play at a time, and knowing you don't have to get it all at one time, and taking it one play at a time. I think EB did a good job with the play calling, and we put together some good drives, and the defense put together some big stops.
Sam Terry's been pitching to get the ball downfield. What did you see on that play? And that's
Yeah, that was a play coming into the game. We knew we wanted to get called just to give Terry that opportunity. And, they were in a coverage where we knew we'd have a chance to get the ball down the field. And luckily we bought enough time to get Terry behind the safeties. And I just tried to kind of throw it over their head and let Terry have a chance to make a play on it. He made a great play, and we just got to continue to do that. We got to continue to give him the ball and give him those chances down the field, because usually when you do, good things happen.
Sam, back to that fourth quarter comeback to start the year. How do you feel about that?
Good, but at the same time, would not like to be in no position every week. We felt like we could move the ball on these guys, but it was just a matter of us playing clean football, and limiting the sacks in the first half was a big thing. And I feel like the first two drives we moved the ball well, but it was just either a sack or a penalty. I can't really remember, but we felt like we were doing a good job. Had some good game plan. We just got to play better and execute.
And then 6 explosives, preliminary count 6 explosives in the second half, a lot better than the first half. What was the difference from your mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a combination of everything. I think kind of we were rolling on offense and doing some good things on the ground and in the air, and we opened up the screen game in the second half, and that was big for us. I think the screen game was one of the main things that won us this game. Those backs did a good job. The O-line did a good job in space, but getting to those screens, because those guys were kind of teeing off, but getting to those screens was huge for us.
Same obviously a lot of attention on the quarterback pressure. I knew he was a young guy. What's it like knowing when you go out there that even if something doesn't go right on offense, that defense is going to make plays, particularly those guys up front?
Oh, it's awesome. Just knowing the defense we have, and it gives me so much confidence going into the game, knowing our defense. And they're going to make plays. Obviously, I think they'd like to have some plays back. But at the end of the day, they made the stops when they need to make the stops. So it's so much fun playing with those guys, and it was good to have Chase back out there too.
And Brian Robinson,
Yeah.
the performers knowing on him to both of those as a runner and as a receiver.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player, and he's worked so hard, and it was so much fun watching him run today. It was a lot of fun. He did a good job. The O-line did a good job. There was some good holes for him to run through, and he hit them. And that's the type of player he is, and did some good things out of the backfield as well. And that's who B-Rob is. He's such a good player, and we just got to continue to help him out and get him more involved.
When he is going like that, what does it do just with the way his style of running too? What does that do for a team?
Oh, it's everything. He runs hard. He runs physical. He makes the defense feel it every single time he touches the ball. And when you're in tough games like this and it's kind of close towards the end, that's what you need. You need somebody like that. And he's a killer when he gets the ball. So it's so much fun to play with a guy like that. And AG did some good things as well. AG did a good job out of the backfield with some catches, and had a big run there at the end where he cut back on outside zone. So yeah, those guys did a really good job.
Hey Sam, how would you assess how you played today, what you learned more about yourself today, and how important was it going in at the half, only being down by 7?
Yeah, going into the half, doing some good things late there in the second quarter was big for us to get some momentum. Just because being down 21-3, you kind of think the game might get away from you. But we just took it one play at a time. Defense gave us some good stops. We got some good field position, and we took advantage of it for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I think overall my performance, obviously they would want to look at the film, and I think there's some things I'd like to have back, maybe some throws that were there, and I had some trouble seeing or something like that. So I'd like to watch the film before I comment on it.
What did you make?
So I've seen your comments, and again, I'm not real sure what the complaints have ever really been about Sam Howell. He's so transparent. He's such an advocate for his teammates, and he just wants to do well. And I want to see, because I see this comment here from Eric Jessup about the O-line, and I'm like, hey, listen, this O-line held up. And I think the O-line is actually, for them to be, when you look at the numbers and you take in those moments about the different holes that were there for B-Rob, for AG 24, and now I'm starting to talk like these guys. Oh my gosh. And so Antonio Gibson, and you say if they're able to score 35 points, 35, and the O-line's got some kinks to work out. And like I said, other than Sam Cosmi, because he went out that one play and then got right back in, they played 100% of the snaps. So you can't help but to say, now wait a second. This O-line, they end up coming out and winning 2 weeks in a row. Week 2, score 35 points. You start to see the running backs in these holes. You see them running down the field. You see them blocking. You're seeing them do all the things that offensive linemen do. Is it perfect? Is it good? Absolutely no way. But I can't help but to say, if barring any injury, it makes me wonder, and this is something that Coach Eric Bieniemy said before, the more they play together, give them some time based on where they are. This is a essentially new O-line of them being together, this O-line, this one. And give them a minute and let's see what happens. And it makes you wonder, well, how bad are they? Now, they blow some plays, but how bad truly are they if behind them you still end up with 35 points? So that's what you got to end up kind of starting to look at. How does that end up being the case if you can still score 30 plus? So I'm hard on them, but you have to take into consideration their newness to each other. But they playing every single snap. And they living to tell about it another week, right? Everybody's got some nicks here, but they living to tell about it another week. So let's see how they continue to gel and how they continue to build that camaraderie. Because one thing about it, and y'all saw again this week, their reaction to what happened with Logan. Oh, they're not taking it. And Sam Cosmi said this. This was during training camp. They're not going to take any crap from nobody. So you have to see how they are together. And it's something there. It's something else there. We know they're new. There's going to be growing pains. But if they're new and they're growing pains and they're still able to score 35 points, I would say that's pretty promising. Love or fire emoji. So that's a good thing. Now let's move on. This is where I'm going to end up closing out the show. I'm going to share Chase Young's media availability. Let me tell you all something. And I went on my Chase rant last week. Because some of the things that I was seeing being said about Chase, it even bothered me in the spirit of transparency. It really did. I'm like, it's you get out there and you're out there and you want the best for these guys. You do. And the reason why you do is not just because you cover them, and it's not just because it's good for business. But despite what everybody may think, winning is good for all associated businesses, okay? Media included. So you see how hard they work. And my thing was simply pay attention to the clues. Look at his friends. I call them friends because that's what they are. Look at his buddies. Look at his teammates. Why would he not want to get out there with them? He's not that type of dude that would just be like, oh, I'm going to just sit this one out. No, that's not how this works in real life. And I'm going to continue to encourage everybody. Yes, everybody has a degree of PTSD from the previous owner. 20 plus years is a long time to be traumatized. But I assure you all that that's not what's happening here. I'm not saying what they're going to do. It's just week 2. But what I'm saying is, if I see something, I'm going to say something. And this is the platform to share it based on my experience and being out there just about every single day. And yesterday meant a lot to Chase. It meant a lot to the team. It meant a lot to his defensive unit. It meant a lot to the defensive line. I shared on my page that it was so wonderful to see Terry McLaurin run up to him after Terry was done with his media availability. He ran up to Chase and gave him the biggest hug and said, "I'm proud of you, bro." That's what's happening in the locker room. Okay? Real life stuff, real brotherhood, real family, real camaraderie. That's what's happening. The age old, whatever rumors was going around, that ain't this. And even for Montez to share, it was John Keim, Nikki Javala, myself standing there chatting with Montez Sweat, and he just talked about how amazing it was to have Chase back out there. And he said, that's like my best friend. I mean, he said, he talked about the long road of injuries that Chase. So he wants the ball. It doesn't serve him well at all to fake it. What good is faking it going to do? The reality is football is rough. It's dangerous. Okay? Very. But that's how they eat. That's how they get paid. That's how their families live. And it serves nobody well if he's out there faking it in front of his friends. I was very, 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 very happy for Chase because he deserved that moment. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know how long these moments are going to last for any player. Just ask Aaron Rodgers, right? We don't know. Who knows? But I tell you what, he wanted the ball, and he did. So for all of the he's a bust, I'm done with him, blah, 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 blah. Hey, love button, fire emoji, because that'd be very happy. You got to Chase Young wearing the burgundy and gold. So check out his media availability.
Obviously got back out there and got the sack, got in the backfield. How excited were you just to be back with the guys and on the field?
Man, just feeling blessed, man. It's been a long time coming for me. Man, I was just a blessing just to be running around on the field, being out there with 9 on the guys. I think that was the most, exciting thing for me.
What was it like at 21-3, down early in this game, and how did you guys stay together?
Yeah, it was weird. We never really, we never really let it hit us. Because a lot of, they came out, a lot of trick plays here and there. Really, it's not like they were just running the ball down our throat. Second half they ran out of those little plays, and we practice on just keep chopping wood, just keep coming, and that's just what we did. We just continued to go, and my offense put on a hell of a game. Sam, EB, the O-line. So man, we got it as a team today.
Chase, that was your first sack in almost 2 years because of all you had gone through. What did it feel like to get that again?
Honestly, just feel blessed, man. I just feel blessed, man. Thankful that God put me back in position to do what I love to do.
When you get them, does it feel different? Does it feel like at times? What does it feel?
Obviously, it feels good as a sack. I put my prayer hands together and I gave him the glory. So.
Hey, Chase, Coach Bear talked about just the connection that you and Sweat had so that they
Yeah. I mean, when you're together every day, all the time, it's kind of like, we just in sync. We just know each other. It just felt good being out there, my guy.
You feel like maybe you reminded, I'm sorry, Don.
Just like all the pieces said that all the pieces started falling in place of this whole team, defense and offense. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I think it just comes with practice. Just keep working, keep grinding. And I feel like as we continue to do that, the pieces will even come together even more. I feel like we didn't play our best game today at all. We made a lot of mistakes out there, so we definitely have a lot more pieces to put together.
You feel like you reminded the NFL world just exactly what you are as a player today?
Fucking right.
People going, when you up, they're going to praise you. When you down, they're going to hate you, bro. I'm right in the middle.
You don't want to say what Sweat said?
When B-Rob had that moment, put in the field, it's a finish. What was that moment like just watching the offense? You're good.
I mean, it was it's like watching practice coming to the game. You know, EB always hammers those guys on finishing in practice, and I always say, man, them boys will be in shape when the game comes. Every practice, when they get the ball, they finish and score, and I think you've seen that.
That is the conclusion of this week's Washington Commanders update. Thank you all so much for tuning in, as you do each and every single week, to get all of the latest, greatest information on the Washington Commanders. I certainly appreciate it. This is Candy Waller of Bowie Television. You all can still catch the show. You can still share the show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. Share it with them. Tell them about it. Again, Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77 each and every single day from 1:30 to 2:30. I will be seeing you guys again soon.